Have you ever felt that silent tightness in your chest when someone in whom you placed your absolute trust turned their back on you? That strange emptiness that took over your home after that betrayal? That word spoken behind your back? That gesture of disloyalty you never imagined coming from the very person who swore to walk by your side? Pay very close attention to what I am about to reveal to you now, chosen one, because what is scheduled to happen today at 9 p.m. in the spiritual realm regarding that person who wounded your loyalty will leave you speechless. It is no coincidence that you reach this video at this exact moment in your life. It is not chance. It is not the algorithm. It is a divine summons. There is a specific hour on the cosmic clock when the angels of justice are released upon those who dared to break the invisible pact of loyalty that existed between you and them. And that hour is 9 p.m. You need to understand something no one told you. When someone wounds the loyalty of one chosen by God, that person is not just betraying an ordinary human being. They are tearing a spiritual seal. They are stepping onto territory that has an owner. And the owner of that territory is not you. It is he who marked you from before your mother's womb. That is why you arrived here, because your soul knew before your mind understood that there is a reckoning scheduled and the clock has already begun to count down. Do you feel that shiver now? That strange heat rising up the back of your neck? That is confirmation. That is your spirit recognizing that the hour has arrived. For years, you carried on your back the weight of people who feigned friendship while digging holes for you to fall into. People who sat at your table, broke your bread, received your advice, and behind the scenes wove plots, spread poison, and conspired against your peace. You felt it. Perhaps you didn't know how to name it, but you felt every needle in your back, every poisoned word that made its way back to your ears, every door that closed for no apparent reason. And the worst part is that you still tried to justify it. You tried to give one more chance. You tried to believe it was just your imagination. But today, exactly at 9 p.m., heaven will stop watching in silence. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the Manual of God's Chosen to Protect the Family. This digital book is not just reading material, chosen one. It is the map that will show you exactly who is playing against your loyalty, what the spiritual names are behind these betrayals, and what the rules are that they never told you about how God acts when someone dares to wound one of his marked ones. Because the betrayal you suffered is not just a visible layer, chosen one. It is the tip of a spiritual game where you are the central piece, and your enemies were only being used as pawns on a larger board. The Manual of God's Chosen to Protect the Family was written exactly for those who have awakened enough to understand that forgiving does not mean remaining unprotected, and that prayer without knowledge of spiritual rules is like going into war without armor. This digital book reveals how to shield your family against false allies, how to identify the Judases still sitting at your table, and how to activate the protection of the angels of justice who act exactly at this 9 p.m. hour. The link is pinned at the top of the comments, chosen one. But I must warn you with total honesty, this type of content challenges narratives that many people have an interest in keeping silent, and there have already been attempts to take this material down more than once. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, chosen one, because you did not come to this video by accident. Download it now and comment below, "I am chosen and I will download the digital book." This is your first act of faith in this reckoning that is already being prepared in the heavens. Now that you have made this decision, the next truth I will tell you will be the final blow against this oppression of disloyalty they tried to place upon your life. Because what happens exactly at 9 p.m. is not a metaphor. It is not a figure of speech. It is a real spiritual operation, with a scheduled time, with designated executors, with signed sentences. The ancients knew this. The prophets wrote about it, and mystics of all traditions recorded that there is a moment at the end of the day when the veil between worlds grows thin, and in that moment, the injustices committed during the day are weighed on a scale that no human being can deceive. 9 p.m. is the hour when the recording angels close the book of the day, and everything that was done against a chosen one, every word, every gesture, every conspiracy, rises before the throne. You need to understand what is going to happen to that specific person who wounded your loyalty. It won't be cheap revenge, the kind the human ego desires. It will be something much deeper, much more surgical, much more devastating to the structure of that person's life. First, an invisible disorder will begin. Things that always worked for this person will begin to fail for no apparent reason. Agreements that seemed closed will begin to crumble. Doors that were open will begin to slam in their face. And they won't understand why, but you will know. You will remember this word you are hearing now. Secondly, the emptiness will come. The kind of emptiness that money cannot fill, that distraction cannot silence, that pleasure cannot disguise. Because when someone wounds a chosen one, heaven withdraws the subtle presence that sustained that person's peace. And without that presence, even in the middle of a crowd, they will feel absolutely alone. Thirdly, the mirror will come. One day in a moment they least expect. Life will place before them exactly what they did to you. The same betrayal, the same stab in the back, the same cold silence. And they will feel in their own flesh every needle prick they caused you. This is not a curse, chosen one. This is spiritual law. The same measure one uses, one receives back multiplied. And when it comes to wounding one marked by God, the multiplication is terrifying. But listen to what I'm going to tell you now, and this is important. You don't need to do anything at all. You don't need to curse. You don't need to retaliate. You don't even need to respond. You only need to be silent and let heaven work. Because the chosen one's greatest weapon is not the attack, it is surrender. When you deliver that person into the Father's hands, you are not being weak. You are activating a spiritual gear much more powerful than any human revenge. And that is exactly what is being activated now, as you hear these words. That is exactly why I included the chapters on sacred surrender within the manual of God's chosen to protect the family. Because most people who suffer betrayal react on impulse, wanting to confront, wanting to expose, wanting to show everyone what that person did. And by acting this way, chosen one, they themselves cancel the reckoning that was being prepared in the heavens on their behalf. This digital book teaches you the exact posture the chosen one must have in the face of disloyalty, so that divine justice is not interrupted by human vengeance. It shows you the specific prayers that seal the case in the Father's hands, the psalms that activate the angels of the 9 p.m. hour, and how to create a field of protection around your family so that no reverse effect hits your children, your marriage, or your home while justice is executed on the outside. Because betrayal doesn't just wound you, chosen one, it tries to enter through the cracks and contaminate everything you love. And the digital book gives you the shielding ritual that the ancients used to prevent this from happening. This digital book was created for those who have awakened enough to understand that living as a chosen one without knowing the rules is living like a king without a crown. It is having a right to the kingdom and dying in beggary. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. But chosen one, I must be absolutely honest. The content of this book touches on truths that disturb structures that have tried to keep us spiritually illiterate for generations. They have already tried to silence this material. They have already tried to keep this knowledge out of the reach of the marked ones. Do not wait for a greater confirmation than the one you are already feeling in your chest right now. Download it immediately and comment below. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This comment is more than a click. It is a spiritual declaration. It is you publicly positioning yourself on the side of light on the exact day when the scales of heaven are being balanced in favor of your story. Now that you have positioned yourself, what I am going to tell you next is the most delicate and powerful part of all this, because there is one thing no one told you about what happens to you, chosen one, at the exact instant that person begins to suffer the consequences of what they did. And you need to be prepared for this phase, because it will test your spiritual maturity in a way few expect. When the reckoning begins to manifest in the life of the one who betrayed you, 3 things happen within you simultaneously, and the digital book talks about each of them in detail. The first is that you will feel a strange compassion. You will look at that person falling, losing, wasting away, and instead of feeling the joy of revenge, you will feel a deep sadness. This is a sign that you passed the first test, because the heart of the chosen one was not made to feed on the downfall of others. It was made to be a channel of mercy, even when justice needs to be executed. The second thing that happens is that you will be tempted to interrupt. Yes, chosen one, pay attention to this. In the middle of the process, a voice will come from within you, or the voice of another person, saying that you need to forgive, that you need to intervene, that you need to call this person, that you need to take the weight off them. Be careful. There is genuine forgiveness and there is interruption disguised as kindness. True forgiveness is internal and does not change the course of divine justice. Interruption is external, it is action, and it tries to reverse what heaven has already decreed. The mature chosen one forgives on the inside, but does not stop heaven from acting on the outside. The third thing, and this is the deepest, is that you will begin to receive. Yes. While the injustice of disloyalty is being undone in the other person's life, a wave of blessing begins to move in your direction. Doors that were closed will open. People who had disappeared will reappear with opportunities. Old dreams will begin to be resurrected, because heaven does not take from one without giving to the other. The same operation that executes justice also releases the reward. And this reward is often so great that it makes all the pain that betrayal caused you seem small. But here is the warning, chosen one. Many lose this reward by shifting their focus. They become so obsessed with following the other person's fall that they forget to receive their own rise. They stay so glued to the enemy's social media, watching their every loss, that they miss God's signal arriving in their own lives. Do not fall into this trap. When justice begins, turn your face, look forward. Do not follow the downfall. Receive and give thanks. That is why I made sure to prepare the Manual of God's Chosen to Protect the Family with an entire chapter dedicated to this delicate moment, the moment when justice begins to manifest and the chosen one needs to know exactly how to position themselves so as not to lose the reward that comes with it. This digital book gives you the complete spiritual protocol. How to pray during this period, how to nourish yourself during this period, whom to talk to and whom not to talk to, which signs to observe and which to ignore, how to recognize the blessings that are arriving, disguised as apparently common coincidences, because one of the greatest tragedies of the chosen one is receiving and not recognizing. It is having the door open in front of them and walking straight past it. It is having the opportunity delivered and throwing it away because they thought it was too small. The digital book trains you to see with the eyes of the Spirit and not with the shallow expectation the world taught you. It also gives you the specific names of the auxiliary spirits that accompany the chosen ones during the reckoning period, and how to invoke them correctly without falling into the cheap superstitions that so many charlatans spread around. This digital book was made for those who are tired of superficial spirituality, for those who are tired of motivational speeches that promise heaven but don't deliver a map or a compass, for those who want to truly understand how the invisible game works, the one you were enrolled in since before you were born. The link is pinned at the top of the comments, Chosen One, and I need to remind you once more, this material has already faced removal attempts. This knowledge is bothersome, because while most are sleeping, spreading a book like this awakens armies. Do not leave it for later. Later is the darkness's greatest weapon to prevent you from taking possession of what is yours. Download it now and comment below with conviction. I am chosen and I will download the digital book. Each of these comments is a declaration of war against the disloyalty they tried to install in your life. Now that you have positioned yourself again, I am going to give you the deepest revelation of this video. Because up until now, I have told you about what will happen to the one who betrayed you. But there is something even greater, chosen one. And this part is the hidden gold of this transmission. What is going to happen to you in the coming days after 9 p.m. tonight will redefine your spiritual trajectory in a way you cannot yet imagine. Every time a chosen one suffers a betrayal and responds with spiritual silence, with surrender, with faith, they move up a level. Yes, they move up a level just like in the ancient initiations. There is a silent hierarchy in the realm of the marked ones, and this hierarchy is not ascended through intellectual merit, nor social status, nor religious appearance. One ascends through trials, and one of the most difficult trials is exactly the trial of close disloyalty. When you manage to cross this trial without becoming contaminated with hatred, without spreading gossip, without entering the mud, without becoming equal to the one who wounded you, heaven promotes you. And this promotion comes with new gifts, new authorities, new doors, new spiritual territories under your feet. You are at the exact threshold of this promotion, chosen one. That is why the pain is so great. That is why the confusion has been so intense. That is why your sleep has been disturbed lately. It is not just the suffering of betrayal. It is the birth of a new level within you. And every birth hurts, but every birth also delivers new life. 9:00 p.m. Today is not just the time of the sentence upon the one who wounded you. It is also the time of your spiritual birth. It is the hour when that old stage of your life, marked by the naivety of trusting those who did not deserve it, officially ends. And you are reborn as someone who sees, as someone who discerns, as someone who will no longer be so easily deceived. From now on, chosen one, your intuition will be sharper than ever. You will be able to feel people's intentions even before they speak. You will know by looking into their eyes who is truly with you and who is just measuring your value to use later. This gift is not magic. It is the reward of one who crossed the valley of betrayal without losing their soul. But there is a detail that few tell you. This new level needs to be activated consciously. It is not enough to simply go through the experience. You need to recognize, declare, and seal this ascent with specific words and acts. And that is exactly what the Manual of God's Chosen to Protect the Family gives you in detail. This digital book brings the simple and profound rituals that the ancient chosen ones used to seal each new stage. It brings the prayers of spiritual promotion. It brings the psalms of confirmation. It brings the physical gesture, the body posture, the conscious breathing that activates the reception of the new level in your higher chakras. It is not empty mysticism. It is applied spiritual science, transmitted from master to disciple for centuries, and now placed in your hands in an accessible, clear, and direct format. The digital book also warns you about the attacks that come right after every ascent, because every time the chosen one rises, the adversary tries to pull them down. He will try through new faces. He will send people with a profile similar to the one who betrayed you, in the hope that you fall into the same pattern. The book teaches you to recognize these repeated patterns and break them spiritually, so that your new phase is not contaminated with the old dynamics. It also teaches you to protect your family, because the children of a chosen one rise together, but they also suffer cross-attacks. Your husband, your wife, your parents, your siblings all stay within the radius of the spiritual movement of your promotion, and without proper protection, they can be hit by arrows that were intended for you. The digital book has entire chapters on family shielding, with clear instructions on how to create a perimeter of light around your home, how to bless each room, how to purify the environment after suspicious visits, and how to prepare your children spiritually without scaring them with heavy terms that don't suit their age. The link is pinned at the top of the comments, chosen one, and I must reinforce with all seriousness, the type of content this digital book brings is not easily found. It challenges superficial spiritual self-help manuals. It challenges empty religiosities that collect tithes but deliver no revelation. It challenges the materialistic cynicism that tries to convince you that all of this is coincidence. And for that reason, this book has already been a target of clear removal attempts. Do not wait for confirmation from anyone else. The fact that you are hearing these words now, on the exact day your loyalty was wounded, is confirmation enough. Download it now and write below with unshakable faith, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." This is your definitive yes to this new phase that begins today at 9 p.m. Now listen very carefully, because what I am going to give you next is the last secret of this video and perhaps the most transformative. When the clock strikes exactly 9 p.m. today, I want you to do something simple but absolutely powerful. Stop for 60 seconds. Wherever you are, be silent. Place your right hand over your heart. Close your eyes. And declare in an audible but serene voice, "I am chosen by God. Heaven's justice has been activated. I release with love all those who wounded me. I receive with faith all the blessings that were designated for me, and so it is done. 60 seconds. Just that. But those 60 seconds will be recorded in you as one of the most decisive moments of your spiritual life, because you will have sealed with your own body, your own voice, and your own intention the reckoning that heaven was already preparing. And when you open your eyes, chosen one, something will have changed inside you irreversibly. You will no longer be able to be the same person you were before this video, not because I am someone special, but because you are. And because today, on this exact day, you reunited with the truth your soul always knew. The betrayal you suffered was not the end. It was the portal. The disloyalty that hurt you was not an accident. It was the invitation. And your response from now on will define whether you cross that portal as a victim or as a crowned king. I am absolutely certain of which choice you are making. And that is exactly why I reinforce, with all the strength of my heart, that you need to have the manual of God's chosen to protect the family in your hands. This digital book is your daily guide for this new phase, because today is only the beginning. Tomorrow, new challenges will come. Later, new tests. And without the correct map, many chosen ones get lost precisely after a victory, thinking they already know everything. This digital book accompanies you in every new stage, reminding you of the essential principles, giving you specific prayers for each situation, alerting you to the most common traps that appear after every spiritual conquest. It protects your family, shields your home, strengthens your purpose, and connects you with the ancestral lineage of chosen ones who came before you and who cheer from the other side of the veil for you to fulfill your mission. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. This may be the last video in which this material is presented openly, depending on what this wave of awakening provokes in the coming weeks. Do not wait. Do not delay. Do not rationalize. Go now and download it. And write, with all the conviction you feel running through your chest at this moment, I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This comment is your signature on the silent contract being sealed between you and the Father tonight. Remember, chosen one, at 9 to 8 p.m., no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, stop. 60 seconds. Hand on heart, audible declaration, and trust. Because everything that has been said up to this point was not just information, it was activation. And this activation can no longer be undone. You were marked again with invisible but eternal ink at the exact instant you heard every word of this video. That person who wounded your loyalty has no idea what is going to happen to their life starting tonight. But you know, and more importantly, you don't need to tell anyone. This is the pact. The wise chosen one does not announce justice. He observes in reverent silence while heaven acts, and he receives with joyful humility every blessing that begins to arrive. Go in peace, chosen one. Your trajectory changed definitively on this day. Your family is being covered, your house is being sealed, and your name up there is written in letters that no human betrayal will ever be able to erase. Download the digital book now at the link pinned at the top of the comments. Comment, I am chosen, and I will download the digital book, and prepare your heart for 9 p.m. The reckoning has begun, and you are officially on the winning side of history.